Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series on Advanced Separation Process. Myself, Jamin Pandya, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department of LJIET Institute of Engineering and Technology. So let's continue with the chapter number 2, which is a membrane separation process. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about various concepts of the osmosis, reverse osmosis, various fundamental mechanism of reverse osmosis, operating and design parameters which affect on reverse osmosis, and various transport model for the reverse osmosis. Before start the reverse osmosis, let's take overview on reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis, less commonly known as a hyperfiltration, is a high pressure, efficient technique for dewatering process stream and concentrating low molecular weight substance in a solution or purifying wastewater. It has ability to concentrate dissolved as well as suspended solid. Reverse osmosis is widely used in desalination of brackish water. To desalinate water, it is required to create flow through a membrane, causing the water leave the salty side of membrane and passing into the unsalt side. To achieve this, pressure must be created upon water column on salt side of the membrane. Firstly, to remove the natural osmotic pressure, and second, to create extra pressure on the osmosis, which is known as a reverse osmosis. Therefore, to understand the reverse osmosis, let's first understand what is meaning of osmosis. The word osmosis is originated from Greek word osmos, which means to push. Osmosis is a natural phenomena most commonly observed in plant. If we do not water our plant, they will be wilt. A plant cell is a semi-permeable membrane with the living stuff inside the salt solution. Water is a draw into the cell from outside because the pure water move across the semi-permeable membrane to dilute the higher concentration of salt inside. This is how water is drawn from the ground when we water our plant. On other hand, if we add salt to plant, the plant wilt because the salt concentration outside of the cell become higher than the inside, and then water move across the membrane from inside to the outside. Osmosis may be defined as the physical movement of a solvent through a semi-permeable membrane based on difference in chemical potential between two solution separation by that semi-permeable membrane. Let us take simple example to demonstrate osmosis. Let's take this a beaker of water as shown in this figure. Is divided through the center by the semi-permeable membrane. The thick dot line represents the semi-permeable membrane. We will define the semi-permeable membrane as lacking the capacity to diffuse anything other than the solvent, in this case water molecule. Now if we add small amount of common salt, or can say that NaCl, to solution on one side of the membrane, the salt water solution will be having lower chemical potential than the water solution on other side of membrane. Therefore, effort to equilibrium the difference in chemical potential, water being to diffuse through membrane from water side to salt water side. This movement is known as the osmosis. The pressure extracted by the mass transfer is known as the osmotic pressure. The diffusion of water will continually until the one of two constraint is made. One constraint would be that solution essentially equilibrate at least to extent that remaining difference in chemical potential is offset by the resistance or pressure loss diffusion through the membrane. And second constraint is that rising column of salt water exert sufficient hydrostatic. So these both constraints are made in osmosis. So osmosis is a natural phenomena when if we are taking the membrane, or can say that we are putting this membrane in one beaker where at one side there is a pure water and second side there is a salt plus water. So from thermodynamics we know that chemical potential of pure substance is a higher comparatively impure substance, and we know that from universal law the always thing is transferring from higher to lower. So at pure water side, there is a higher chemical potential, and at impure water side there is a lower chemical potential. So this water is trying to diffuse from this side to this side, which means it's trying to diffuse from clean water side to the salt water side. So it equilibrates the chemical potential from both sides. So we will get this type of system. So this is all about the osmosis. Now let's talk about reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis, less commonly known as a hyperfiltration, is a high pressure and efficient technique for the dewatering process stream, concentration of low molecular weight substance in solution, or purifying wastewater. It has ability to concentrate dissolved as well as suspended solid. Reverse osmosis is widely used in desalination of brackish water. To desalinate the water, it is required to create flow through the membrane, catching the water, leave the salt side to the membrane passing into the unsalt side. To achieve this, pressure must be created upon water column on salt side of the membrane. First, to remove the natural osmotic pressure, and second, to create extra pressure on water column in order to push the water through the membrane. As the name suggests, reverse osmosis is a osmosis in reverse. Therefore, this phenomena is known as the reverse osmosis. To reverse the natural process of osmosis, it is required to overcome the osmotic pressure equilibrium across the membrane because the flow is naturally from dilute to the concentrate. We want to pure water. So, we must increase the salt content in cell. To do this, we increase the pressure on salty side of the membrane and force the water across. The amount of pressure is determined by the salt concentration. As we force water out, the salt concentration increase requiring even the greater pressure to get more pure water. By exerting hydraulic pressure greater than the sum of the osmotic pressure difference and pressure loss of diffusion through the membrane, we can catch the water diffuse in opposite direction into more concentrate solution. This is known as a reverse osmosis. The greater the pressure applied, the more rapid will be diffused. It follows if other variables are kept constant. The water flow rate becomes proportional to the net pressure. Using reverse osmosis, we are able to concentrate various solute either dissolve or disperse in solution. It has separation range from 0.001 to 0.001 micrometer. Reverse osmosis is a liquid driving membrane separation process with the membrane capable of passing water with rejecting the microsolute such as a salt or lower molecular organic. Pressure driving force is need to overcome force of osmosis that the water to flow from dilute permeate to concentrate feed. The pressure required is a depend on concentration of salt solution on the rejection side of the membrane. Running a system at 1100 ppm on concentrate side require application of over 200 psi pressure. Seawater system at 33,000 ppm generally runs at 800 psi. Reverse osmosis system in household usually run at 50 to 70 psi. So this is the basic information on reverse osmosis process. So in reverse osmosis, we are going to apply a pressure on salt side to pass the water from clean side water. Generally, reverse osmosis pass the clean water molecule and reject other molecules such as the monovalent, bivalent, bacteria and other particles and solid particles. In osmosis, the water is passed from this clean side to the salt side, where in reverse osmosis, to overcome this pressure, we have to apply some external pressure that revert back this osmotic pressure, we uh, and we can get clean water from the salt side to the clean water side. So this is all about the working of reverse osmosis and principle of reverse osmosis. Now let us discuss about various transport process and mechanism of reverse osmosis. The reverse osmosis driving force is pressure gradient near about the 15 to 100 bar. Transport mechanism is a diffusion, or can say that solution diffusion. So let's consider there is one membrane Now let's consider this is one membrane and this is a feed side and this one is a permeate side. So a molecule that pass from the membrane is first come and lie into this surface of the membrane and then is pass and diffuse from the membrane. So separation principle for the reverse osmosis is a solution diffusion and sorption. Then size retention of particle is a 1 to 10 angstrom. Mostly symmetric membrane or thin film composite membrane are used in reverse osmosis. Various materials such as cellulose acetate and aromatic polyamide and polyether are used as a membrane material in reverse osmosis. Pore size of the reverse osmosis membrane is less than 2 nanometer. Types of module mostly used in reverse osmosis are spiral bound module and hollow fiber module. Typical flux range for commercial installation in reverse osmosis is 10 to 30 gallons per feet square for 1 day. So this is all about the transport mechanism for reverse osmosis. There are various models for transport mechanism in reverse osmosis are used such as the Cadam model, Prinzler model, modified solution diffusion model and pore transport model. So these all models represent transport mechanism of reverse osmosis. Now let's discuss about the various design and operating parameters for the reverse osmosis. So there are mainly 6 parameters which affect on design and operating parameter for the reverse osmosis such as the pressure, temperature, solute concentration, membrane packing density, uh, recovery factor, feed water stream velocity. So let us discuss in detail about the pressure. The water flux is a function of pressure differential between the applied hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure across the membrane. Passage of water increase with increase in applied pressure. Let assuming the osmotic pressure T is a constant, then solute rejection rise with the pressure since solvent flux is increased and solute diffusion does not. So can say that with increase in pressure we can get the higher flux in reverse osmosis. Then now let's discuss about the second operating parameter which is the temperature. Solvent flux increase with increase in temperature since viscosity is decreased with increase in temperature. On other hand, solute rejection decrease with increase in temperature because osmotic pressure increase with temperature and because solute pass higher activation energy than solvent. Now let's discuss about the solute concentration. Flux decline with increase in solute concentration because of increase in osmotic pressure difference at low feed velocity. Flux decline with increase in solute concentration because of increase in osmotic pressure difference. At low feed velocity past the membrane, solute is polarized at the membrane, a phenomena which known as the concentration polarization. While the velocity increase, mass transfer redisperse more of the polarized solute, lowering the effective solute concentration at the membrane. Now let's discuss about the membrane packing density. This is the expression of unit area of the membrane which can be placed per unit volume of the pressure vessel. The greater this factor, the greater will be overall flow through the system. Typical value range for the membrane packing density for the reverse osmosis is 160 to 1640 of pressure vessels. Now let's discuss about the fifth parameter which is the recovery factor. The consideration of recovery factor actually represent plant capacity and is generally in range of 75 to 95% with 80% being the particle maximum. At a high recovery factor there is a greater salt concentration in processed water as well as in brine. As a higher concentration, salt precipitation on the membrane increase, causing a reduction in separation efficiency. Now let's discuss about sixth parameter which is the feed water stream velocity. The hydraulic of reverse osmosis system are such that velocity in range of 1.2 to 76.2 centimeter per second are common. Plate and frame system operate at the higher velocity while the hollow fiber unit operate at lower velocity. Higher velocity and turbulent flow are necessary to minimize the concentration polarization at the membrane surface. So this is all about the various design and operating parameters for the reverse osmosis. So in this lecture, discuss about the basic concept of the osmosis, then discuss about the reverse osmosis, transport process and mechanism for the reverse osmosis, and various basic design and operating parameters for the reverse osmosis. So this is all about today's lecture. I am completing my lecture here. Thank you.